inside usually in the hospital. And I was young once, but I've gotten over it. I don't have anything serious to say. And first of all, I'm part female. My mother was a woman, she said, so that's my credentials. I was young once, and in my first 2 weeks of residency at the med center downtown, I had a little baby since I was a junior student, and I wasn't sure if I'd forgotten how or not. So the logical choice was to put me in charge of labor and delivery at Marion County General Hospital. So I was just trying not to kill anybody. So at the end of the day, about 5 o'clock, I'm waiting on the night crew to come on, and I'm getting ready to leave. I'm sitting there by the water fountain and the coffee pot. They have these ancient wooden wheelchairs. Have you seen these with the tall wooden back? And with the slope things they put their legs on and the foot paddles, you know, that's what we had. I was sitting in one of those just waiting for the crew to come on so I could go home. So the elevator that would come up the second floor was loud and ancient, and I heard this. Well, earlier in the day, someone had sent this lady home in false labor, and that turned out to be a mistake because the elevator opened right in front of us, and there's this large woman in a wheelchair, just like I was sitting in, consuming the wheelchair unattended. Someone had seen her downstairs and recognized that she was in pain and put her on a wheelchair, pushed the button, and let her come up. So the door opens. She's staring at us like this. And we're staring back. And we hear this guttural, primal scream, scaring the crap out of all of us. So the nurses all rush over, and I'm sitting there wondering what the heck's going on. And they couldn't get the wheelchair to move because her feet are out in front, and she's weighty enough that it was not going to move. The contraction, we assumed, was over. They moved the wheelchair out in front of the nursing station, a little closer to me. Now then, I'm on my feet. 3 nurses around this lady, and she had another contraction. Scream, feet out in front. This time, this young blonde nurse that I was standing next to was next to this woman, a little too close, because as she screamed, she bit down on her right breast. But I was the only one who noticed that there was about a 2-second delay between the chomp and the scream. Nurse. And Chippy was her name, made me promise that as long as she worked there, I would never reveal that to anyone. It wasn't flesh, and it was more of a fabric. So, at any rate, the contraction's over. She gets wheeled down the hall to one of the labor rooms, and right in front of the labor bed, before they can get her in the bed, they can do an examination. Now, this is the truth, I swear. She's got a dress on. I don't know how this happened, but she has her 3rd contraction. And this little baby goes shooting down that wheelchair footboard and slid under the bed. With the umbilical cord and a gush of fluid. And I can hear the baby crying. Keep flying. I'm on the hands and knees. Trying to find the baby. I ran on the other side of the bed, pushed the bed out, and it's crying. So it's alive.
Oh my God.
And she had underwear on too. So I fished the kid out. I mean, I just got there for crying out loud. I wasn't ready for this. So I get the baby, and I headed the nurse, and she's going to take the baby to X-ray and make sure to have a skull fracture. It was fine, by the way. I wasn't. And they're like that. And as I look toward the door, this is quitting time, you know. So my chief resident, who's in charge of my life, you know, walks by and says, "Nice delivery, Jim." And I was ready to go home. I can't. So, you got time for another story?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Now, this is one that I heard when I was an intern here before. I was a probably about my age when I met him for that month. And he told a story about an earlier time in obstetrics in Indianapolis. I had no idea these things happened, by the way, but he said there was a service in the 30s called outdoor OB. And as he told it, he said that they would send a team out from Marion County General Hospital, City Hospital back then, I'm told. It's Busher now. And it would consist of a senior student and a junior student that would go up to a family's home when she was in labor, and they would do the delivery. There was a pecking order. He was the junior student on this trip out, and there was a redheaded gentleman that was a senior student. Well, he was the junior student was the scut boy. He did all the preparatory work, you know, and cleaned up the mess, and the senior student got to do the delivery. Well, until Bill Gamble told me the story, I didn't know what kind of anesthetic they used, but they used rectal ether. They would put a rectal tube up the lady's, yeah, and pour some ether in, and they would put her about half asleep, half awake, and kind of numb the contraction pains. And nothing I ever find or something like this, but at any rate, they would put the lady's legs over the straight chair when she was lying across the bed with her bottom near the edge of the bed, transversely. Put her legs up, spread the newspapers down on the floor. Kind of a mess. So it was his job to do all the scut work. And the senior student would sweep in at the last minute and do the delivery, and then leave the junior student to clean up things and tidy up. So that was fine, except for one thing. Two things, really. The senior student forgot that ether is heavier than air, and it tends to stay down at ground level. And it creeps, and you can't see it. So the senior student is standing in the doorway of the next room. You guessed it. Oh, time to deliver the baby. And the flash fire goes up and hits the lady in the backside. She screams, and the kid shot out midair. And everybody was happy. So he got to do the delivery just because of the cigarette and ether.
Did he still have to do this cover?
Yeah, I think he had to do all of that. So I can't talk about it.
Was it a boy or a girl?
He didn't tell me that. I don't know, but he did. He did deliver the baby. Thanks to the rectal ether and the cigarette.
You'd say he was a flamboyant.